Alright, for this video I want to cover a sample form 8863 for education tax credits, and this is going to be for the 2023 tax year. Now in this scenario we're going to have Jane Doe. She's a single filing taxpayer, no dependents, and she is working full-time but taking some additional classes, and she's going to be eligible for the lifetime learning tax credit. So we've got the 8863 here, which we'll go through, and it's part of her full Form 1040. So we'll cover the relevant schedules within the Form 1040 as well as that 8863. And then lastly, just one slide here covering some background on this form and the credits, and then more details on the fact pattern here. So the 8863, it's filed to claim either of these two credits or both, right, depending on your circumstances. The American Opportunity Credit or the Lifetime Learning Credit. Now, the American Opportunity Credit, this is generally the more favorable credit because it provides more of a tax benefit. So the American Opportunity Credit, however, has much more limitations than the Lifetime Learning Credit. So the first thing is the AOTC can only apply to your first 4 years of college. So this first 4 years of post-secondary education. Once you've used it all of those 4 years, you can no longer claim it, even if you go back full-time to get a second degree, right? You've already used it 4 years, doesn't work like that. Now, students, in order to claim this, have to be pursuing a degree and enrolled at least half-time. So you can't be just taking some random classes as a non-degree seeking student, and you can't be less than half-time, right? So very limited in scope as far as who can qualify for that. Now, the Lifetime Learning Credit is much more broad, right? So this credit's available for an unlimited number of years, and it can be claimed even if you're not pursuing a degree. Now, the credit is non-refundable, similar to the AOTC, but the American Opportunity Credit does have a refundable portion, but the Lifetime Learning Credit is non-refundable. So what that means is that you can claim the credit if you have taxes to be able to offset with the credit amount. So if your tax liability is reduced to zero, you're not going to be able to benefit at all from the Lifetime Learning Credit. Now, the maximum amount of the credit is $2,000 per return, and the way we calculate this is generally we take 20% of our qualifying education costs. So if let's say your total qualified education costs were like $8,000, you would take $8,000 times 20%, and you would get a $1,600 figure. So $1,600 would be the credit potentially that you're working with. Now, here's the fact pattern details that we're gonna have a look at. So we've got Jane Doe. She's 25 and she works full-time as a marketing assistant. She's already completed her 4-year bachelor's degree in marketing, and that was completed at the end of 2019. Now she's taking some classes in computer science. So she's non-degree seeking. She's got 2 classes in the fall semester, and the total amount that she spent was $2,050. All right, so she can't claim the American Opportunity Credit because she's already got a 4-year degree, right? And she's not, that's right then and there is immediately disqualifying her for it. But these other issues are at play as well, right? She's not enrolled at least half-time, and she's not pursuing a degree, right? She's just taking classes in this field. So she still can claim the Lifetime Learning Credit, and that's what we're going to have a look at here. So her 1040, page 1, we can see she's a single filing taxpayer, no dependents. And so her W-2 wages as a marketing assistant were $85,000. And so she's claiming the standard deduction, and so her taxable income is $71,150. Now, on that taxable income of $71K, she has total taxes owed of $10,966. The reason that's important is because it shows that she does have some taxes owed for the year, and so she is going to be able to claim this non-refundable credit to offset against those taxes. So we have a look at the 8863. Page 1 is kind of like a cover or consolidation sheet because if you have multiple students or persons that are being claimed with the return, you complete a separate Part 3 on page 2 for each student. So in this case, we're only going to be doing one Part 3 because we just have Jane. But if you were filing this for a married filing joint return and you had multiple dependents that were students, you would have multiple Part 3s. So we have Part 3 here, information on the student and the educational institution. So we've got Jane Doe as a student, her social security number, the name and address of the university or college where she's taken the classes. Question 2 is marked yes. She did receive a 1098T for 2023. Question 3, we've marked no because she did not receive a 1098T from last year. She was not enrolled in 2022. And then in box 4, we enter the tax ID number of the university, and you can find that information on the 1098T. Now, questions 23 through 26 are vetting whether we can qualify for the American Opportunity Credit. And what we'll see here is we can. So question 23, the very first one, have we claimed this for any 4 prior years? Well, Jane goes back to her tax returns and look at those tax returns and sees that, yeah, we've already claimed it. So because we've already claimed it for 4 years, we're not going to be eligible to claim it again. She would also fail the test for these second 2 questions also, right? She's not enrolled at least half time, and she's not pursuing a degree. So 24, she would have to answer no to that as well, and that would also disqualify her from the American Opportunity Credit. And then also question number 25, right? So did the student complete the first 4 years of post-secondary education before 2023? And her answer is yes, right? She's already got a 4-year bachelor's degree, so that also disqualifies her from claiming the AOC. So lines 27 through 30 for the American Opportunity Credit, we can just leave that blank and move on to question 31. So question 31, enter the total amount of our adjusted qualified education expenses. And so we've entered the $2,050 figure there. Now the $2,050 figure is transferred up here to Part 2, line 10. Part 1 is for the American Opportunity Credit. This we can just leave blank because we're not claiming the credit, right? So the AOC amount is left blank and we're just doing the Part 2. So we've got line 10, $2,050 of qualified education expenses. Line 11 is asking us to enter the smaller of line 10 or 10,000, right? So remember, the credit is 20% of our education costs, but it can't be more than $2,000 of credit, which means that the cap on the qualifying education cost is $10K. So it asks us to enter the lesser of the two. We enter the $2,050 amount. Multiply by 20% gives us $410 of credit. Now, questions 13 through 16 are determining whether or not we have any phase out for a reduction in the credit amount. In our case, we do, right? So question 13, enter $180,000 or $90K if single. So we've got the $90,000 figure there. Line 14, we enter our adjusted gross income. So if I look at 1040, page 1, line 11, we see our AGI is $85,000. So $85,000, we enter that amount on line 14. Line 15, we subtract line 14 from line 13 and enter the difference here. So we've got a $5,000 difference. Now for question 16, enter $20K for married filing joint or $10,000 if single, head of household, or qualifying survivor. So $10,000 is the figure entered on line 16. Now we figure out the ratio of the phase out, the reduction to the credit amount. So if line 15 is equal to or more than line 16, enter 1. If not, right, if line 15 is less than line 16, which it is, divide line 15 by line 16 and enter the decimal amount on line 17. So we've got 0.5, or we're working with a 50% reduction. So multiply line 12, $410 by 0.5, and enter the amount here, $205, and on line 1 of the credit limit worksheet. So the credit limit worksheet, we're going to enter on the credit limit worksheet to figure out, okay, do we have enough tax to use to offset with this credit? Right. So in other words, if your tax, let's say our tax was 0, right? If we were looking at our return and line 18 was 0, or if line 18 was, let's say, $100, we would have a problem here because we don't have enough tax to be able to leverage the full amount of the credit. But in this case, we've got a lot of tax, right? We've got $10,966. So we enter the 205 from the 8863, subtract line 6 from line 5, and that leaves us $10,966. And then enter the smaller of line 7 or line 8. So line 7 is 205, line 8 is the 10K, so we enter the smaller amount, which is $205. All right, so $205. Now we don't have any amount, 8863, that is the non-refundable American Opportunity Credit. We don't have any amounts there. So the only amount that we have available for credit is that $205 figure. And so as the worksheet asks us to do, it says enter this amount on 8863 line 19. So we're going to go back to the 8863 line 19, $205. So once you have your lifetime learning credit of 205, you can enter this on Schedule 3, line 3. So if we go back to the 1040, we look at Schedule 3, non-refundable credits. We can see Part 1, line 3, education credits, $205. So the 205 ultimately flows back up here to line 20. So we've got taxes of $10,966. We're reducing that by a $205 credit. And so the net amount of tax that Jane owes, $10,761 on her taxable income of $71,150. Now she has some withholding here, which is offset against that tax liability. But the important point is up here we have $10,966 of tax being reduced by a $205 credit. All right, so that covers it for this tutorial. I hope that was helpful. Any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks.